I don't think I've talked about this enough, like properly talk about it. Because on YouTube, especially in book spaces, there's this weird pressure to either love something or quietly move on as if you didn't. And I don't do that very well. Sometimes I read a book and I just sit there and my brain is, I don't know, my brain cells are screaming. Not because it was interesting, not because it challenged me, but because it annoyed me. And I keep thinking about it like, why did this get so big? Why did this work for everyone else? What am I missing? Or am I missing anything at all? So yeah, this is that video. These are the books I've read and hated. Or maybe hate is too strong a... No, it's not. It works. I'm Darv James. Welcome to this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comments below. And I want to give a huge shout out to the members on this channel and on Patreon. You guys are brilliant, and if you want to join the early access podcast and exclusive content, check it out. Okay, let's start with the big disappointment. The Priory of the Orange Tree. This one annoyed me in a very specific way. Because it wasn't just a book, it was advertised as a moment. You remember it, the marketing was everywhere. Epic new fantasy, new voice, fresh, groundbreaking. I went in thinking, okay, finally, something that might feel a bit different. And then reading it, I'm like, I've read this before. Not once, not twice, but too many times. Dragons, court politics, chosen ones, looming threats, it's all there, and none of it is bad on its own. That's the frustrating part. It's just familiar in ways that feel very tired. This book is the epitome of lazy fantasy, and I kept waiting for the twist, the moment where it just became its own thing, and it never did. It just kept going, and then suddenly we're at the end, and it felt like someone realised that we had 50 pages left and went, right, let's wrap this up really quickly. And I just sat there like thinking, that's it? All that setup, all that world building, and this? How is this the ending? How did this happen so fast? And look, people love this book, I get that, but for me, it felt like a beautifully packaged version of something I've read a dozen times, just stretched out and rushed at the finish line. Okay. Then there's Children of Blood and Bone. And I got a review copy of this back in the day. I got told off by the publisher for my review of this, but boo them anyway. This one's going to annoy people. It blew up. This book was popular. I went in, okay, maybe premise good, inspiration genuinely interesting. And then I started reading it and had this weird creeping feeling, I know this story. And I don't mean like vague, like, oh, it's a trope. No, in a very specific way. I've watched this story before. It felt very close, structurally and thematically, to Avatar: The Last Airbender. To the point I couldn't see it. I couldn't see past it. Couldn't unsee it. The training arcs, the power systems, the emotional beats, and again, none of those things are bad. Avatar works for a reason. But I keep waiting for this book to break away from that. That's one thing that always stuck in my head. To take those influences and twist them into something new, and it just didn't. It stayed in the lane the whole time. And that's the most frustrating thing for me. It's not that something inspired by something else, but it never goes far enough to become its own identity. Because I'm not discovering something new, I'm just recognizing something old in a different skin, and at this point it should be like a Minecraft skin, and there should be their own shelf in the bookstore. Avatar: The Last Airbender inspired books. Guys, I know we watch this show, I know we love it, but can we stop rewriting it a million times in a row? Okay, we need to talk about the Wheel of Time, because this is personal. I don't hate the world. I don't hate the idea of it. In fact, the world building, incredible. The scale, ridiculous in the best way. I get why people love it. But the characters, I just can't do it. They don't feel like people to me. They feel like archetypes. Like someone took a list and just went, here they are, the stubborn one, the brooding one, the wise one. And it just cycles through the same behaviour over and over again. And I know some people will say, it's a slow burn, it gets better by book whatever. Maybe it does. But I gave it time, I really did. And at some point you stop thinking, will it pay off, and start thinking, why am I still here? The book is the uninvited guest at the party. Because you don't hate it enough to quit immediately, but you don't love it enough to start to enjoy it. You're just stuck with it. It's like the toxic X of... It's the toxic X of fantasy. Okay. Then we've got the Shannara series. This is where I fully accept that I might sound mean, because this genuinely felt like, what if someone read Lord of the Rings and went, I can do this, and didn't change enough? It has this post-apocalyptic thing, but the fantasy thing going on, which should be interesting, but the characters just irritated me. I don't, in that weird, I don't want to spend time with you way. I want you out of my house. And that's the worst thing a book can do. Because even if the plot is messy, even if the world building is all over the place, if I like the characters, I'll stay. I will forgive a lot. But if I don't, everything else just falls apart really quickly. And with this series, I just felt like I was reading something that existed because something better existed before it to justify its existence. It was weird. And the thing is, I don't think these books are objectively bad. That's not really how this works. People love them. They mean something to people. I think that's important. But I also think if you don't talk enough about this side of reading, the other side of it, the part where something just doesn't work for you, where the hype doesn't land, where the story doesn't connect, when you finish a book and just feel tired, not thoughtful, not emotional, just tired, and maybe that says something about the book, or maybe it says something about where you are when you read it. I don't know. But what I do know is these books, those books that stuck with me, they stuck with me. Not because I love them, but because I couldn't stop thinking, why didn't I?